For Dave Grohl, pain has never simply been a wound. It's been his fuel. And few albums capture that more intimately or more explosively than The Color and the Shape. After the devastating loss of Kurt Cobain in 1994, Grohl struggled to even face music again. But eventually, that silence gave way to sound. That grief became a driving force. Foo Fighters was born, a project that started as a solo catharsis and ultimately evolved into one of the most enduring rock bands of the modern era. By 1997, Grohl was facing a different kind of personal storm, a painful divorce from his wife Jennifer Youngblood. And once again, instead of retreating, he turned to music. But this time, he wasn't alone. Foo Fighters were no longer just a one-man band. With guitarist Pat Smear, bassist Nate Mendel, and drummer William Goldsmith, Grohl was determined to build something bigger, something lasting. But not all transformations come without sacrifice. The early recording sessions for The Color and the Shape at Bear Creek Studio were tense. Though the band tracked over a dozen songs, Grohl found himself dissatisfied with the results. Tensions escalated, particularly with Goldsmith, who was asked to redo parts again and again under the critical eye of producer Gil Norton. In the end, Grohl quietly re-recorded most of the drum parts himself. When Goldsmith discovered this, it was the breaking point, and he walked away. Enter Taylor Hawkins. At the time, Taylor was known mostly as the touring drummer for Alanis Morissette. But Grohl saw something more: raw power, infectious energy, and a spirit that couldn't be faked. Hawkins joined Foo Fighters just in time for the Color and the Shape tour, and unknowingly stepped into a legacy that would come to define the band's future. Taylor Hawkins wasn't just a replacement, he was the missing piece. While Grohl's heartbreak gave the album its emotional center, Hawkins' arrival gave Foo Fighters its backbone. He brought thunder to the live shows, charisma to the stage, and a brotherhood that transcended music. His chemistry with Grohl was immediate, both musically and personally. The bond between the two would become one of the most iconic friendships in rock, full of wild laughter, creative fire, and mutual respect. Though Hawkins didn't play on the original studio tracks of The Color and the Shape, the spirit he brought to those songs on stage redefined them. His live performances of Monkey Wrench, My Hero, and the now legendary Everlong helped immortalize the album not just as a record, but as an experience. And so, The Color and the Shape became more than a breakup album, more than just a Grammy-nominated success. It became a turning point, the moment Foo Fighters stopped being a solo project and truly became a band, a family. The album sold over 2.3 million copies in the US, went double platinum, and earned a permanent place in the rock canon. It was the band's final release on Capitol Records before signing with RCA, signaling a new era not just in sound, but in identity. And through it all, from the wreckage of personal loss to the triumph of artistic rebirth, Taylor Hawkins stood behind the kit, smiling, sweating, smashing cymbals, and giving The Color and the Shape a second life every time he hit the stage. Today, the album is remembered not only for the heartbreak that inspired it, but for the brotherhood it sparked. It stands as a tribute to emotional honesty, musical grit, and the serendipity of finding the right people at exactly the right time. This is the story of The Color and the Shape. This is the story of how Dave Grohl found his voice and found his band, and in the process, found a lifelong brother in Taylor Hawkins. Now, as Foo Fighters stand on the edge of yet another transformation, the echoes of The Color and the Shape feel more relevant than ever. That album was born in the crucible of personal heartbreak and artistic uncertainty, and today, the band faces a similar moment of introspection. With the passing of Taylor Hawkins, they lost more than a drummer. They lost a soulmate, a brother, a presence who had breathed new life into the very songs that once helped Dave Grohl process his own pain. And now, as they look to the future, Foo Fighters are tasked with an emotionally delicate and creatively daunting mission: to find someone new who can sit behind that drum kit, not as a replacement, but as a continuation of the spirit Taylor left behind. The search is not about technical skill alone. It's about soul, chemistry, trust. It's about finding someone who understands what it means to carry a legacy, to step into songs born from heartbreak, built on friendship, and performed with unshakable fire. The next drummer will inherit not just a set list, but a lineage. From Grohl's own hands on the original recordings, to Goldsmith's turbulent tenure, to Hawkins' transformative reign, they will become the new heartbeat of a band that has always lived and breathed through rhythm, a band that has always turned pain into power and grief into anthems. And perhaps, in some cosmic way, the color and the shape itself offers a kind of map, a reminder that from brokenness can come reinvention, and from absence, something beautifully new. Just as that album once marked the rebirth of Foo Fighters after emotional collapse, this next chapter may mark their renewal once again. The stage is waiting. The songs are eternal. And somewhere, the right drummer is out there, ready to rise to the challenge, honor the past, and help write the next unstoppable beat in Foo Fighters' extraordinary story. And when that moment comes, when the lights dim, the crowd roars, and the first thunderous strike of the drums kicks into Everlong or My Hero, it won't just be the start of another show. It will be a resurrection. A reminder that Foo Fighters were never about one man, but about connection, survival, and the healing force of music. The journey that began with the color and the shape, born from personal pain, strengthened through brotherhood, and etched into rock history, will carry forward once again. With a new pair of hands behind the kit, the legacy will not only endure, it will evolve. Because in the world of Foo Fighters, the beat never stops. It just finds new life.